What's up, everyone? Sorry, I couldn't resist. Anyways, after interacting with Michael Jordan and Brendan Fraser over the last 2.5 decades, the Looney Tunes are finally making their big screen comeback, this time interacting with NBA basketball player LeBron James. Before I get into this, a little history of how it became to what it is today. For 25 years, it had been delayed for the longest time. It was going to be an entirely different film with the original director Joe Pytka directing, and have Looney Tunes Michael Jordan beating a new alien villain, Berserko, to another basketball game, which would have been like a rehash of the film. But due to a variety of factors, like with Michael Jordan's decline, we instead got the colossal failure Looney Tunes Back in Action, which killed off any more future Looney Tunes media. But now that we've got the sequel for a long time with Warner Animation Group, finally got to get a chance to see it. Also, I had to prepare myself by watching its original predecessor before getting to this film. And after watching it, well, there are a few issues, but still hope it could carry on the legacy of the Looney Tunes playing basketball. Now, also, there are a few elements I'll be bringing up that might involve what I believe what Looney Tunes creator Chuck Jones and Back in Action's director Joe Dante might think of this rebrand. Now, the story is about LeBron James, now a father, trying to rescue his son from a technical villain named Algorithm, played by Hotel for Dogs actor Don Cheadle. In order to do this, they had to challenge each other into a basketball game. LeBron is the one who needs help getting a team together, not Bugs this time. So, in order to do that, he had to go down to Toon World into a Warner Bros. Verse, to assemble a team and save James' son before it's too late. Part of it's like just the typical father and son relationship, and it's hard to connect with the dynamic, especially with his son, played by Cedric Joe, because of how mean-spirited he was to his father, which we'll get into later. Also, when LeBron and Bugs Bunny travel into the universe of Warner Brothers, like with Harry Potter and other DC superheroes, it got into the vibe of Ready Player One and Ralph Breaks Internet. And from watching the film, I almost got the feeling, it was meant to be released back in 2018. Just the theory, judging by its crossovers. There are a few issues with this story, like its aspects, which we'll get into right now. There's a couple scenes where Looney Tunes characters like Bugs Bunny and Porky Pig, for example, doing modern stuff that wouldn't please either Chucks or Dante, like Bugs Bunny doing Hammer Time or Porky rapping during a basketball game. That just almost makes the film look dated. But either than that, say the core of this film is like the fun of its center. Like with LeBron interacting with the Looney Tunes character, that's part of the fun. This story might have been a rehash of its predecessor, but it does have its fun moments and it's probably a few more stuff that don't fit with their personalities. Now for the animation, I'd say it's mixed. On one hand, when LeBron James is dropped into Toon World, we get some beautiful hand-drawn animation which we haven't seen in quite a while. Well, most of you might have seen Mary Poppins Returns scene, most of it, sadly, but the hand-drawn animation is one of the most best parts about the film. Though I was expecting more of that Roger Rabbit effect, but that only happened at the end of the film. But then, when Algorithm upgraded the Looney Tunes characters, that's when film would reach an uncanny valley. Because we see the Looney Tunes characters in their three-dimensional looks. As fabulous Daffy Duck put it, expensive. But just because it's expensive doesn't mean it's a good thing. And I wish it had been upgraded, as to put it. Because the CGI on the Looney Tunes don't translate well to the big screen. I wish they kept the traditional style like they did with its predecessor. The animation can look beautiful, but with the CGI, not so much. With the characters, I don't think there's much to talk about. With the Looney Tunes, they'll probably stick well with their personalities as their predecessors, but they still have the same comedy, like with all the dynamite stuff and slapstick. That's part of their charm. For the human characters, I say LeBron is good compared to Michael Jordan Michael Jordan, but I believe you're more interesting than James, but he did a good job, by the way. As for James' son, I don't get why he was against his father during the basketball game. That sort of made him a bit unlikable. Like, he doesn't know his father, which is upsetting. And as for the villain Algorithm, he's kind of an interesting villain, but I believe Berserko would have been a much better film if Space Jam 2 got released years ago instead of the time right now. As for James' family, there isn't much to talk about them because they're just like extras and help out the relationship between father and son. I think that's all there is to it. The characters are sort of a mixed bag when they stick with their traits, but when they interact with each other very well, then that's good. So overall, Space Jam 2: A New Legacy, as they put it, it might be inferior to its predecessor with its modern stuff and one-dimensional character traits like with the humans, but it does stay close with the same charm with Looney Tunes characters, comedy, and their beautiful hand-drawn animation is probably the best part about it. So my recommendation for this film is, if you want to see it, then go right ahead for its beautiful hand-drawn animation in Looney Tunes. But if you don't like its predecessor, then that's fine by me. Speaking of which, you should watch Space Jam on Hulu while you get the chance before seeing this film. As for LeBron and all the other Looney Tunes characters, your film, for carrying the legacy, again, gets a 6 out of 10 as a decent film. And Warner Bros. Animation Group, I hope you make another hand-drawn animated film soon, because you've created this much amazing stuff so far. That's all, folks.